Hey, my name is PolishLynx, welcome to Sunrider Liberation Day Return! And again, we are with the choice, whose help do we need? I was thinking about going with Sola now, but it's a bit late and I won't be able to get all the endings she has. So, we are going with a different option, Icari. Yeah. When I think of covert operations, the first person who comes to my mind is Icari, obviously. Not only that, but she's the ship's chief of security, exactly the kind of expertise we'll need in a situation like this. We're going to recruit her. We'll need her technical know-how to figure out how to stop the massacre. Okay, Captain! Come on, she's probably in the mess hall right now. T-minus 63 hours until the Liberation Day massacre. 27 hours until that little girl enters the mainstream. Sure enough, Shields found Icari chatting with Kriska in the mess hall as soon as he entered. Obviously, like always. Well, not like always, but like usual. Well, I have no clue how that happened, but for some reason the game minimalized at a second ago. Minimalized. Ah, whatever. The Lieutenant too, huh? He pondered whether to bring Kriska into their plot as well. We're trying to prevent the assassination of Alliance military leaders, so Kriska would be more than eager to help out. But on the flip side, I can't risk the Lieutenant leaking word of this plot to Alliance Command either. That would be the first thing a dutiful soldier like her would do, and that will cause complications for me, since then they will then expect to coordinate a counterintelligence operation to thwart the assassination with the real Kato Sheets instantly blowing my cover. For a moment, Sheets waved whether he should bring the Alliance into their effort to stop the massacre, but ultimately decided against it, and that's a good decision. The Alliance won't be able to move fast enough, and once the truth comes out that I'm not the real Kaito Sheets, I'll be finished. I'll have to stake my chances on a small covert op. Looks like it will have to be just Icari. We'll do the same, to be honest. Shields casually walked over to the pair. And by the way, there is no ending with Kriska. A bit of disappointment? Yes. But I guess we don't know her long enough on the ship, so that's how it is. well, chatting together again so soon? What's your problem, Cap? Soldier boy here was just telling me some stories. Got any interesting ones yourself? Yeah, one. But the soldier boy can't hear about it. He leaned in close to Icari and whispered into her ear. Sorry to cut your date short, but I need your help. The date? It's not like I... Ahem, Lieutenant. I must speak to my Chief of Security about a private matter. Sorry for interrupting your discussion. Not at all, sir! Kriska, being the perfect soldier, she was stood upright without hesitation and walked out of the mess hall. Captain? Talk to you later, mercenary. Oh, what was that about? Is something going on? Shields took a seat next to Icari and leaned into her ear so they could speak in whispers. We've got a problem. It threatens the security of this ship. No, more like the security of the entire galaxy. The Doc and I have discovered our chief engineer is a prototype. Are you for real? I thought those tests came back negative. Sorry, that was just a lie we made to make the prototypes think they've still got us fooled. In reality, she's a spy who's been programmed to assassinate every Alliance military leader gathered at the victory celebration if we successfully liberate Syrah. Kind of like the prototype's insurance policy. We've got 3 days to stop her before it's too late. Holy damn. Are you alright? I know you're going through some tough times, right? And she was always the one rooting you on. No. Don't go too far, Icari. But for her to turn out like that, damn, you must be wrecked. I'm totally fine with this. I totally don't mind her, guys, because I don't like her. Don't worry about me. Alright, just hang in there, Captain. We'll get through this together. I can't believe her first concern after hearing that is me. I guess Icari is really an old softie after all. In about 20 hours, she will enter the prototype's mindstream during the Battle of Syrah. While she's inside the mindstream, the prototype's leader will empt her own consciousness inside the little girl and then assume control of her in order to carry out the mass assassination. We have to detain her before that, so she never enters the mindstream. I wonder if this will work out. Hey, this isn't making any sense here. How do you even know all this? You're pretty much talking to me as if you were seeing the future or something. Come on, there is something you're not telling me, isn't there? As expected of Icari. Looks like her experience as a mercenary wasn't for nothing. Alright, you are gonna have a tough time believing me. But I really am from the future. Everything I've just told you I've experienced firsthand. She will really enter the mindstream in about 20 hours, and she will be mind controlled by the leader of the prototypes, and she will assassinate the Alliance's top military leaders. Oh man, you really had me going there, Captain. You almost convinced me that poor little girl really was gonna backstab us all. Gee, and I even felt sorry for you and all. Icari's grin slowly drained from her face when she saw the light fade from Shield's eyes. Holy shit! Icari sat wordlessly at full gravity of the situation now crushing down on her chest. You really are serious? You gonna explain to me just how you traveled back in time to tell me all this? Shields pointed to cloth sitting across from the table. She waved back. Hehe. Icari grabbed him by his shoulders and stared into his face. Are you serious? He nodded. I always knew Boob Rackets was suspicious, but I never would have imagined she was a time traveler. Boob Rackets, I can't remember this. Yeah man, suddenly I'm getting the feeling that this is all a weird dream and I'm just about to wake up. Wouldn't that be a thing? I don't suppose you know how Boob Racket's been traveling through time? You'd have to ask her, because I'm not aware of the detail myself. Okay. Icari drew a deep breath of air. Alright, Captain, I'm in! Yes! It's been a while since I've got a job this crazy, but don't worry, I've seen some pretty insane shit, so I'm not gonna back out now. I'm your girl for this, Captain! Yes! Icari held out her hand. Shields took it. A pleasure hiring you, Miss Isidore. I'm afraid I'm a man of modest means, so be gentle on this man's life savings. Heh. Captain, for now, for you, I'll do this pro bono. Now, come on, let's go nab our chief. Before Icari could make another move, the klaxon sounded. Radar! The Pack fleet has made its move! Hell not now. Shit change of plans, Captain. Looks like I gotta go. I expect the best from you out there, alright? Else if whoop some packed ass, I'll come back and deal with the chief. Actually, shit no time to say. Don't mention any of this to me during the battle. Curse, confidentiality and all. Now, gotta go. Icari leaped over the table and sprinted towards the hangar. But she doesn't know there are two of us. Captain, we best make ourselves scarce. There you are. You're supposed to be on the bridge. If you get discovered anywhere else during the battle. Alright, let's go. And recollection was coming back. This time Pack fleet advanced, choosing to launch a frontal attack using Riders Decimate. Okay, that's something we know already, so yeah. Battle stations and so on. And right now we can skip and yeah. And the hull was attacked. And the drone arrived, or some kind of robot, or however it was called. And right now we need to viz this and to scroll through a ton of saves, save it. And which end do I want now? That's the question. You know what? Alright, let's save him. Once again. So we save him and then we fight that thing that appeared. but normal weapons don't really do much, so we grab the pistol and fall back, because attacking would be stupid, as I said. Then the wall was destroyed again, and our Boob Rockets girl appeared with RPG, and boom boom, she missed, and then we took the RPG, boom, and we win. If you want the whole text for this fight, just check out the previous videos. The easiest way to do this, actually. And yeah, sneaking back, and we are with Icari again. They found Icari waiting for them beside the Phoenix's Mountains Bay. I'm back, and looks like luck's on our side. You saw what happened, right? She's just been admitted to the sick bay. It will be okay to take her in while she's sleeping for the night. Sheets remembered what Icari was talking about. During the battle, the Liberty's shoulder maneuvering wolf had fractured, sending it an uncontrollable spin. While she wasn't injured, his past self had sent her to the sick bay to be on the safe side. The only problem is that Icari thinks I just saw all of this happening from the bridge, thanks to my prior explanation getting cut off by the battle. Alright, but I couldn't finish explaining the mission to you because of the interruption. The real situation is actually more complicated. I'm actually not the only Kaito Shields in the universe. My old self is still acting as the captain of the ship right now, and he's convinced himself that she is his most trusted partner. Honestly, if I were the captain right now, I would have already detained her myself, but the reality is that I can't afford to blow my cover, or else the other Kaito Shields will most likely throw me into the brig. By the way, there's another plot thriller in the universe too, tending to that little piece of crap in the sick bay in town. What? I guess that war should be with her, not with me. Oh, okay, maybe with me as well. No, isn't it obvious? My old self exists in this timeline as well, piloting the Bianca and serving as the ship's lonely doctor. She wouldn't just disappear because I time warped here. You're making my head hurt here. You mean the captain who just commanded me in battle, and the cloud I fought alongside you just a moment ago, weren't you guys? There's the situation, yeah. This job just keeps getting weirder and weirder. This might be, honestly, a new record my bizarre as shit list. Now we understand why secrecy is the key. We also have another problem. We can't just kidnap that little girl and accept the battle tomorrow to play out the same way as it did in my timeline. In fact, I haven't told you why she enters the prototype's mindstream yet. Well, isn't because she's actually a spy? Well, I think she isn't even aware herself that she will be used as a pawn in the prototype's plans. The Pack forces under Fontana's command scheduled to reinforce the combined fleet tomorrow actually have been sabotaged by the prototypes. There's a Trojan virus embedded deep in their ship systems, which will allow the prototypes to hijack control of the ships using their hyper brainwaves. Guess a firewall isn't too powerful. She will enter the prototype's mindstream, attempting to disrupt their control over Fontana's ships. However, during the time, the leader of the prototypes will empty herself into her mind, allowing her to assume the control of her during the war ceremony even after she is defeated. I still don't know how the details of how the prototype's mindstream work, but from what I've heard from Lynn, their bodies can be controlled by their leaders at any time. Although the prototype being controlled can resist to a certain degree as well, with a strong enough force of will, but unfortunately, not really unfortunately as we don't care, but she is so weak when it comes to will that she got control easily. The problem is that if she doesn't enter the mindstream, then we'll all die tomorrow when the prototypes... Wait a second. That's not actually true. We don't know if we will die if she won't do this. That never happened. Alright, when the prototypes assume command of all of Fontana's ships. But that might be possible. Unless, if we're somehow able to send an encrypted transmission to Fontana now, warning him of the Trojan, then he could potentially start devising countermeasure right now. At the very least, he could pull his forces back so that the prototypes can't use his ships against us. There's an encrypted everything computer in my office, I could use that. Alright, Captain. If she doesn't enter the downstream in about 14 hours, send an encrypted NTL message to Fontana warning him about the virus. Avoid detection by the other Kaito shields. On top of all that, we've got to figure out a way to make sure nobody notices her gone missing until at least the battle begins. No doubt the other Kaito shields will launch a search as soon as he discovered that that little girl has vanished off the face of the ship. well, we'll just take the risk. We have to kidnap and so on. Alright. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to go to the sickbay and distract this timeless Claude, while Icari sneaks in and wheels her medical trolley away. You two will take her to quarter A, which is currently unoccupied, and wait until I arrive. I'll try to beat a hasty retreat as soon as I can. Once we regroup, Claude will use the floor access hatch to relocate her to maintenance room D4, while Icari runs to the mess hall and calls the other PolishLynx out on the comm. I'll then use the chance to sneak into my office and send for another encrypted call. Do you got all that? So, Captain? Let's roll! Alright, good luck. Meanwhile. Alright, so he's here, and that's something I've seen already. You probably did as well. Now we enter the sickbay, and Claude is... the other Claude, the one from not our time, but the one that didn't travel with us is here. And so on. And this time, for once, we are not going to take the holo. I better not take any risk. Claude's still a time traveler, so who knows the full extent of her powers. Alright, Doctor, thanks for the chat. I feel a lot better now. I should head back to work. I'll see you around. And time, Captain. Let me open the cover. No, it looks like you have a lot of work to do in your office. Shields opened the sliding door himself and left Claude in her office, closing the door behind him. As he walked out, he confirmed that their operation was a success. He marched out of the sickbay, a mischievous grin plastered all of his face. Shields knocked on the ostensibly occupied crew quarters while the coast was clear. He tapped the intercom and whispered, "It's me, open up." The door opened and Shields slipped inside. "You're back! As you can see, the plan went exactly as planned." That's not exactly true, but let's wait. He saw her tied up to a chair, still unconscious from the sedation. "I hope my other self treated you alright." Yeah, she did. Okay, now that we've regrouped, let's move on to phase 2. We need to condemn Fontana on FD.com. Let's get moving. Actually, there's something else I need to talk about first. There's something about time travel I haven't mentioned yet. I don't like the sound of this. Unfortunately, time travel is nowhere as flexible as one would expect, or as I would use my powers more often. The main intention of time travel is that when individuals and events get moved out of sequence in the timeline, a time paradox can occur. Time paradox, I've heard those words before. Slow down, Sola. I'm not quite following. Why does you being here mean the universe is doomed? Time paradox. If the mislocation of an event in timeline breaks the link of causality between a series of events, then the logical sequence of the entire chain of events will be broken. For example, if I were to travel back in time and remove the prototypes from existence, then all of the other events which resulted from their actions would no longer make sense. Such a time paradox can potentially cause the entire space-time continuum to collapse, meaning the effective end of the entire universe. Wait a minute, you mean the kind of time paradox which can destroy our entire universe? Looks like you finally discovered the hard part of this mission. It's pretty complicated to explain, but the skinny of it is basically, if you were to succeed in this mission and thwart the liberation massacre, both this universe and the past universe where we come from will collapse and cease to exist. As it turns out, the space-time continues really sensitive to time paradoxes and resolves them quite forcefully. Collapse. You mean we'll all die anyways, even if we win? Then what the hell is the point of any of this? Huh? Mo, we're thinking like human. Okay, that's what happened. Alright, let's continue with this as well. Yeah, we will simply be wiped from existence. Dying is a natural phenomenon which must inevitably happen to all life forms, but is an entirely different concept from never existing at all. You travel here from a future in which the liberation and massacre occurred in order to prevent it, but if you succeed in your mission, the PolishLynx who travel back in time would cease to exist and the massacre never takes place. So then, who would be the man who stopped the massacre? A true logical conundrum. In other words, a time paradox. So then, is the future really impossible to change? The future can be changed. That's why I brought you here. At the end of this journey, you must make a choice. Either stop the liberation massacre from occurring and avert the tragedy which befalls upon everyone, and destroy the new universe and then universe you came from, and replace them with the new universe you create with your decision. Or you let the massacre occur, accept the tragedy, then this universe will remain untouched and connect with your timeline. The universe you know will continue to exist, for the better or worse. You're telling me, if I go through with this, everyone I know will vanish from the face of the universe, but then a new universe will with copies of those same people will be created. That's the gist of it, yeah. And that is the reason why I brought here. The key here is that the law of causality does everything in its power to resolve time paradoxes, and it does that by deleting the universe where the paradox occurs, and then creating a universe which can then logically continue to exist from that point on. In this case, you and everyone in this universe, as well as everyone in the universe where the massacre occurred, would be wiped from existence, thus eliminating the time paradox. But then a universe where the massacre never occurred would be born, and everyone would still exist in that universe completely oblivious to the fact the massacre even occurred or that there was a desperate mission to prevent it. Then we can still save everyone by creating a universe where the massacre isn't prevented but simply never existed at all. Now you're understanding how this all works, Captain. Oh, this time travel still is hard to understand. But if this mission is a success, we'll have destroyed the universe where the massacre occurs and head down a different universe where the massacre simply never existed at all. Basically. In this circumstance, I intentionally sought to create a time paradox in order to manipulate the law of causality into destroying the universe you don't want and into creating the new one you do want. Well, it was pretty drastic, but it's not like there is anyone out there who can stop me, so... It's pretty convenient. This look that the law of causality has. I've been using it to create and destroy universe for... I forgot. I'm immortal. Who knows how long I've been doing this? Anyways, now that your choices have been laid out in front of you, I want to watch you choose. Kato Shields, hero of the galaxy? That's the entire reason why I brought you here. All of this is so I can watch you more. I want to watch you run around fighting desperately against impossible odds. I want to see the tears in your eyes when you fail, the euphoria coursing through your veins when you're victorious. The bigger the stakes, the more torture to your dilemmas. The mightier your enemies, the more I want to see you fight because it brings me so much pleasure seeing you in action. Clothes and her body flashed bright red as she squared her legs. I think I might have come a little... God, you bastard. She's thanked me, just like always. Come to think of it, was there ever a moment when she wasn't playing me like a fiddle during the whole time I've known her? Well, we're in this too deep now, we have to keep working together. Good. Oh, call Captain, I knew I could count on you. It's not too bad you have as once in a lifetime one chance to change the future. Isn't God such a generous God? But before you get excited with the knowledge that you have the deity on your side, you should now understand why I can't use my powers willy-nilly. It'd be a pain if I were to accidentally wipe out a universe or two from existence. By causing an unintended time paradox myself. Every use of my power must be carefully planned in advance so that they bring about consequences I want. The results otherwise wouldn't be pretty. So basically I can't count on her to pull me out of the fire using her powers anymore. Alright, nothing productive is going to come out of fighting amongst each other. Whatever it is that we're going to do from now, we have to work together to accomplish it. And she wakes up and we don't care about that. Basically the dose, that's the word, I think. The amount of sleeping pills the cloth from this timeline gave her was not enough and she woke up earlier than when we wanted. And unfortunately... Wait. Yes! They're making a mistake, the girl is not, okay? Shields lost his words. Captain, we secretly Icari as well. As far as we can tell, she doesn't appear to be an imposter. She's insisting that all of this is a mistake and this man before us in the real Kaito Shields. So he's bodyguard too. Get her to sickbay and make sure she's right. Take him away, boys, we can find, okay. Kaito, okay. She guards prototype. Alright. And I got struck in the guts. Now that that's the same text. And that asshole is still not believing because he's so blinded by feelings towards that little weirdo. A short time later, he heard someone knock on the holding tank. Shields looked up to see Icari on the opposite side of the glass, fiddling with the wiring of the brick door. After a few seconds, the gate raised out open. He ran out and met Icari. Damn, that was close. Boy, am I glad to see you still in one piece, Cap. Thankfully, your other self convinced himself that you're a prototype, so it was piece of cake to get him to let me go. Once I acted like I had been fooled too. Honestly, something's been really off with your other self lately. Shh, I bet it's his new girlfriend. Guys, sure change at the drop of a pin the moment they get hitched, huh? Icari, please don't talk about my other self if I'm not here. After I fooled the other shields into thinking I was totally normal, I hacked in the ship's security system and managed to sneak here. Everything else is history. But you are totally normal. Well, maybe not totally, but I guess I consider her normal. Thanks for busting me out. Well, it's not like I busted you out of just because I like you or anything. You know, you have a future safe, right? Anyways, it won't be long until security finds out what happened. Here, take this. Icari passed him and you saw a set of captain's uniforms. Best I could get my hands on. It should still contain your old command clearance. Thanks. Shields looked around uncomfortably for a place to change, but didn't particularly find anywhere useful. Turn your head. Huh? Icari covered her eyes with her hands moments before Shields quickly pulled down his jail trousers and slipped into his uniform. You idiot! Give him more advance notice before he starts stripping! This is hardly to be the time to be worried about that. I can't believe you. Shields finished putting on his uniform. Alright, show's over. Let's move. Into the maintenance tunnel, come on! Icari whipped a strange-looking device on the tunnel's gate, instantly unlocking it. Shields assumed it was some sort of improvised skeleton key and crawled into the tunnel without asking any questions. Once they were safely deep within the Sunrider's mechanical innards, the two of them paused to decide their next course of action. First order of business is to send the encrypted message to Mona. Then we have to figure out a way to put that little piece of crap out of commission. But now that security is on high alert, getting to my room is not going to be a walk in the park. Think you can distract secret for a bit? Leave that to me. Okay, let's move. Icari and Shields climbed out of service tunnel and dropped down near the captain's office. As a pair of marines stood in front of the destination, rifles held at the ready. You're going to have to figure out a way to get them out of there. It won't be long now until they figure out you've escaped. For now, I can do this. Icari pulled out her holo and hacking the Sunrider security information network in an instant. Cracking the system's a cinch if you know all the backdoors. And I'm the one who built the system, so... Icari created an alert on the network that intruders had been sighted in the sick bay. Nice, I guess it pays to have the chief of security on your side. Let's go! Okay. So she can kick ass, and she has a great brain. She might be a tsundere, but I don't mind that. She's the best in my opinion. I can't afford to relax. Alright, now we call the Fontana first. Well, let's say when we waiting for him to appear, we said words that we shouldn't, and he appeared and he heard something and disconnected, and now we tell him again what the dangers await and that he needs to unhack his ships and so on. Alright, Captain One Boogie coming our way. Just one, I think we can take him. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, boom, the time, leap, dice, get the time. Of course, the paperwork again, but shit, the marine tossed aside. Okay, they collided on the floor, hand over the marines, but got hit in the gut. Icari appeared behind him and smashed his head with prize teapot. Oh, of course, the teapot, again. Heirloom to 9 billion pieces, but unfortunately is made with something weird and so on. Alright, I would throw it into space, but run out of the office before any more marines could show up. But they show up and shit. Okay, no need. Okay, Shields. Okay, Shields. Other captain, he's telling the truth. I saw him contact Fontana myself. You could believe us, cause you're being fooled by big time by that little girl. Icari, I don't know what's going on, but you helped this import escape by hacking our secret system. When I brought you on board the ship, you swore that you would play by my rules. What happened to that? Hey, snap out of it! You're not acting like yourself! Captain, I'm inclined to agree. The past few days you have exhibited strange symptoms whenever we broached it up with our chief engineer. Now, even our chief of secret believes that she seeks to sabotage our mission. Should we not reevaluate our approach given these new developments? I don't see any new mods, just the same as prototype. Pull up to split this ship apart. Commander, you are out of line. With all due respect, Captain. Enough! This is definitely weird. The captain like he's being mind controlled or something. Shh! Was this what the prototypes were hoping for? To use her to control him? Shit! You've gotta do something to make him snap out of it, or else we're all gonna be sharing a cell with Lynn. It's useless. He's falling completely under control of prototypes. Icari's right. It's do or die time. Shit slowly lowered his hands from his head to the sound marines locking and loading their rifles. Shields? How about we settle this man to man? I'm you, you are me. Believe me, I've stood in your shoes before. I was so damn cocky that I couldn't see the truth dangling in front of my eyes. Marines, hold your fire! The other shields march up to his mirror image. They stood face to face. I could skip this, but it's pretty a good moment actually of the game, so let's go. Alright, I'll bite. If you are me, you should know that little girl has done for us. She's had hundreds of attempts to kill us before, and yet each time she has defended the ship. I already said it, that's bullshit. We can... Okay, now that I noticed that Icari is the freaking brain, and basically she did everything to protect the Sunrider actually. We don't need her anymore. I mean, that little girl, whose name I'm not allowed to say. Okay, to question her now would be tantamount betraying my family. Bullshit. Sleeper spy? You know what that is? Right now, she's doing is whining your influence, but when the time comes, she'll lose control of her body and destroy all that you work for. If so, what would you have to me to do? Kill her? Imprison her for life? Both options are good. As long as she can't actually escape from the prison. If not, then the first option. Even if it leads to what happened in the saga route. Protect her from being controlled by prototypes. This for her sake as well, and for the lives of everyone on board this ship and the billions who will be saved if this war ends now. You know what my future's like. If you think you're protecting her right now, you're gonna be in for a hell shock. You've got to do this for her. All life! She will save us. She's all that matters. I won't betray her, it's everything. The other shields grab Shields by the scruff of the collar, staring deep within his past self's eyes. Shields only saw a massive, empty void, as deep as the darkest trench. All I need is her. Shields struggled against his other self's grip as he raged with madness. You've been corrupted! Ava was right. This version of myself has become a slave to the prototypes. At this rate, reasoning with him is completely useless. What has this little piece of crap done to him? Marines, hold your fire! I'm taking command of the situation! The captain has gone insane! Marines looked around panic at a loss to what to do. On one hand, the captain of the ship had just relieved the commander of her authority, but it was clear from his mad raving that their captain was no longer fit to lead them. You moron! She clenched his teeth. Wake up! And bam! Left straight to the jaw. Or a kisser, as they say in this game. Okay, the other shield fell flat on his back against the floor. Shield stood over him and bellowed. He bellowed the truth which only knew, for he was not speaking to an adversary or a prototype puppet. He was speaking to himself. This isn't about her, okay? This was never about her! She's not important! Don't you get it? All of this is to exorcise the ghost which haunts you by the bedside every night. The ghost of the one person you regret failing the most. I know. I tried to move on by finding a new future. A future far from war, surrounded by my children. I don't get the children part, but never mind. But all of that was a lie. A deception used by the enemy to control me. Me? Nothing I do will ever return Mari to me. Nor will it absolve me of the crime of abandoning millions to die that day. But such is war. In war, scars are opened. Scars which may never close. Scars which we must wear for the remainder of our lives. But I'll be damned if I let more of my crew die because I could not face the truth. The dead are gone. Some battles end in nothing but defeat. It's time for you to face the truth. Both eyes open. Tears ran from both her eyes. Those were the words both men lived by. No matter by the torment, no matter the comforts that she couldn't even offer, Kaito Shields would not close his eyes to the galaxy he needed to defend. His other self's face returned to normal. Commander, revoke the Chief Engineer's security access, and have her date. The tension finally deflated. The Marines put down their rifles, all parties exhaling in relief. Sir! The ghost which spawned from that wretched day will never leave my sight. All the more reasons she should not gain new friends in the afterlife. With that, the other Kaito Shield stood up and straightened his uniform. I'm convening an emergency staff meeting. We'll have to devise a new battle plan without her participation. Commander, get the lieutenant. As for my other self, I'm sure his insight will be most valuable in the coming battle. After all, at least he's smarter than me. That's what he should say. Despite the two men being at each other's throats, a second ago Shields could not help but chuckle at his own joke. Alright. Now we can skip a bit because that was the meeting and so on. And now he saw Icari sitting at a bar stool, sipping on a mug of beer. He leaned down against the counter. Regulation strictly forbids the consumption of alcohol on yellow alert status. Looks like you are in quite a bit of a trouble, Merc. Looks like you're out of luck. You can't order me around when you're not the captain of the ship. Who are you, the commander? Come on, at least let me celebrate your victory. It's still too soon to celebrate, Icari. We might have managed to send the transmission to Fontana and detain that little girl, but the battle still has to be won. Icari took a long chug of her drink. Heh. Relax, Cap. It's not alcoholic. Icari motioned the bartender to pour Shields a mug as well. Cheers to changing the future. I can't drink to that. The two of them clinked their glasses together and took a sip. Well, you did pretty good, Shields. I admit, even I got a little jittery when you delivered that whooper right to your clone's face. What with the wall of Marines surrounding us? But, that was a pretty gutsy move, and it looks like it paid off. Ooh. I guess I gave you that much credit. I'm not saying I like you or anything, but you're not half bad. Just another day at the job. You can say that again. Say, what do you suppose will happen after this? Will this universe really completely be rewritten? I'd bet the full details are too complicated for the human brain to even comprehend. In the end, we'll all continue to exist, completely oblivious to the fact that I traveled back in time to rewrite the future. In the end, as long as the massacre never occurs, that outcome is within acceptable mission parameters. Yeah, but I guess a part of me is still scared if everything will just continue the way things are now. What if something weird happens? Weird? Well, I'm just using this as a hypothetical, but let's say I were to get really drunk and make out with you or something. Would that event still be in the universe? Or will it be as if it never happened? What the hell? Oh, what are you saying? Idiot, I said just a hypothetical. I'm providing a what if. Never mind, forget I even said that. I should have known a schoolboy like you would lose his marbles at even the basic mention of scoring with a girl. This is why I can't count on you for anything. Shh. Oi. Shh. Bartender, I need another. What's even the point of drinking more on non-alcoholics? And yet, 3 more drugs later. Yeah, now shit. I've been wanting to know for a while. You're on a boat full of eligible women, right? So just which one of us has the most brownie points on your list? I'm afraid that information is classified. Yes. You know, the quicker you get over the chief, the better. Well, it's pretty sad that she turned out to be a prototype spy and all, but you can't let it get to you. Sometimes stuff just doesn't work out. I don't really care. She can be prototype. I don't care about her, okay? Your personalities clash. Turns out you like your instant ramen cooked through, but she wants it hard. You can only work in the mornings, but she wants to stay up all night. Or she's actually an enemy sleeper agent. Irreparable shit like that happens all the time. The fuck? One of those things is not like the others. Ah, shut up! I'm just trying to give you some life advice here. Well, how about you, Icari? Are you and the lieutenant, trying to change the subject? Besides, don't be an idiot. Soldier boy turned out being not bad, but seriously, going out with a straight lace like her, I bet we'd get tired of each other in less than a day. It just can't be helped, huh? Looks like we gotta have a one-night stand with you, just so we can get over the chief. Wanna do it right now? Huh? A schoolboy like you should just be grateful I'm offering. Oi. You're always trying to act so cool, but I bet if I actually take that over seriously, you will just collapse like a big house of cards. Why would I be scared? Besides, don't get the wrong idea. It's not like I ever liked you. This is just a favor. Consider it a little fixer-up so you can go back to full combat status. All for the sake of the ship. All guys are so easy to deal with. Pretty much any male ailment can be fixed by waking up with a naked girl in the morning. If only women work that way. Come on, let's go. We can take care of it right now. I can't believe this girl is actually trying to pull this little gag on me. I bet as soon as I accept, she's gonna just say "Sure," and talk all high and mighty that I fell for her to play hook, line and sinker. Let's see just how far she can keep going with this prank until her facade crumbles apart. Alright, Icari. Suddenly Shields put both his hands on her shoulders. Huh? What's with the serious look all of a sudden? I've made up my mind. It's you who I love. Yes! Finally he said those words! Yes! Huh? I love you, Icari. I've always loved you. That's why I choose you to help me in this mission. Idiots! I never said anything about love! What are you doing? Bring feelings into this. I ain't gonna fall for this so easily. You're just trying to play along, aren't you? What? You mean everything you said was just a joke? Of course! Oh, Shields. She's face twisted as if Icari had just impaled him with her katana. Hi! Pull yourself together! I'm sorry, right? Same! I won't accept this, Icari. You're just painting tsundere, aren't you? I know you actually have feelings for me! He pushed her closer and raised her chin with a finger. This is the only way we can confirm our feelings for each other. Hi! He came in, lips puckered. Icari's eyes bulged and twitched as she trembled. Just a second before their lips met, Shield stopped his approach. I guess this is enough to teach her a lesson. If only she could see the look on her face right now. Except at the moment Icari leaned forward, pressing their lips together. What are you doing? What do we... Icari stared at Shield, tears slowly pulling up in her eyes. Oi, don't tell me. Icari's face slowly turned the same color as the side of a pack warship as she realized Shields was actually just pranking her. She ended up falling for my prank, right after when she tried to get me with the same joke. Icari stood up off her stool. You idiot! I hate you! With that, she stormed away. Run! Run, Kato! So in the end, she tries to act all cool and prank me, but as soon as I one-up her joke, she falls for it instantly and then gets pissed off. It was all a joke. Run! This one truly is a mess of contradictions. Run! Hey, Icari, wait! Yes! Shields ran off after her. Don't follow me! Get lost! Oi, now is not the time for that soon act. Would you stop? I'm not acting soon! There's no soon! There is no dare! You know, when the tsundere screams, don't follow me, isn't that pretty much a demand that I follow? Yeah. Icari spun around and faced Shields, her face contorting with humiliation and fury. What the hell trying to pull? Pretending to make out with me as some kind of sick joke. Like you turned out, you're the one who started it. One night stand. You can barely even handle a kiss. I guess after all that, you're the real schoolgirl here. You! I'm not a schoolgirl. A kiss isn't even a big deal. Had so many kisses before. It's nothing special. I could kiss you right now without batting an eyelash. Oh yeah? Let's see it. Kiss is nothing. I've killed dozens of guys while seducing them with my body. You better prepare yourself. Who knows? I might just decide to stick a knife into the back of your head while we're making out. All guys are such pigs. Just a little strip show, and you all drop your guard. Must because all the blood drains out your brains and into your dicks. You are stalling for time, aren't you? A kiss is nothing! She's screaming that mostly for her sake. Icari marched forward and pressed her mouth against Shields, wrapping her arms around his neck. Her tongues slashed against each other, lapping up each other's taste. She wrapped her lips around his tongue and sucked it deep into her mouth. She's actually not bad. Actually, of course she's not bad. She's my favorite after all. The sleepy warmth of her mouth relaxed his mind and made his crotch tingle. They finally disengaged, panting for breath. See? A kiss is nothing. Just then a third voice spoke, bringing vapid horror to Icari's face. Mercenary! This is what it looks like, I swear. You know, fraternization with your fellow servicemen is highly unprofessional. Of course, that is exactly the sort of disregard for the rules that I've come to expect from a civilian contractor such as yourself. But to actually display wanton acts of physical affection in public, and with the ship's highest-ranking officer no less, this is reproachable conduct of the highest order. Actually, Kriska, I'm not the captain. I'm the new guy to Shields. Ah, I see. Then I believe congratulations are in order! If there are no violations of protocol, then what is the problem? What a sudden 180 degrees change in opinion. To think that my comrade Icari would finally fall in love. I feared that after the war, Icari would elect to raise a household of filthiness instead of finding a romantic partner. But I see that my worries were ill-founded. To think that she was capable of showing such affection to a fellow human being. My concerns for her future have all but evaporated. This is wonderful news. I must go tell everyone. Wait! It's not unlike this tall loser. I was just. Why? I must prepare to swerve my duties as the maid of honor at once. We're already getting married. With that, Kriska marched off with a proud look on her face, resembling a mother who had just learned that her daughter had found their ideal match. Icari stared on her face devoid of life. Shields waved his hand in front of her. Oi, are you alright? She could only twitch as she emitted hollow laughs. And later that night, there will be something you probably can't see. While Shields had managed caught a respite thanks to his actions, he had no idea that his biggest crisis was still yet to come. Shortly after spending time with Icari, he received a summons to the bridge. What? What?! Not nice! Not nice! Tense face of command crew. What happened? She escaped, okay. So that's what happened before. But... Alright, so we have the hangar, the pact, and so on. That's the same as before for sure, so we are fine. Fontana arrived, and now we fight with this little piece of crap. Please, Icari, don't die me there. So yeah, they fight. She enters the zone again. It's called Awakening. Actually, the game. I'm so used to saying enters the zone. I don't know. Just a sports thing that stayed in my mind still. So you know. And she got a bit hurt, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean it will end here, because Admiral Piece of Crap appeared and Fontanant appeared, and we can win this battle. And that's where we appear against Alice again in the main reactor, and she has a freaking machine gun and a pretty great defenses. But we will fight. We will not fall down easily. Icari appeared. Katana in one hand and a Wakizashi in the other. Okay. Now, that's quite problematic. Google. Because I really don't know what is a Wakizashi. I need to check quickly. Wakizashi. Search. Oh, it's also type of a katana, I guess. It's this short sword. Don't know how I would actually call it differently. Yeah. She flipped into the air and met Alice's blade with her own. Alice redid her saber as the two women circled each other. Quicker than lightning, Alice jabbed her blade forward, Icari nimbly back away. Then stepped forward with a power sweep of her katana in an attempt to break Alice's center. While lacking power, Alice's slender blade proved too quick. Alice charged forward as Icari's katana went wide and brought her blade down on Icari's head. Icari barely deflected her attack in time with her shorter blade. That is Wakizashi. Then used the momentum of her katana to spin in a whirlwind. Alice hurt her blade to the side as their steel edges met, sending sparks flying. Careful, she's shielded! Don't worry. Icari eyed Alice's rifle resting on the ground. Whoever grabbed the rifle first would gain a decisive advantage. Alice went off the offensive, using her blade speed to attack in a flurry. Icari blocked each of her blades dancing in front of her. She spun her ponytail lying behind her and cut her Wakizashi across where Alice's neck would have been had she not ducked down in time. You're not bad. First thing I learned as a compact fighter. Never fight fair. Alice charged forward and swept her sword across Icari's eyes. Icari barely managed to pull back in time, the blade cutting across the tip of her nose. Right back at you! Icari tossed her Wakizashi like a throwing dagger at Alice. The knife darted for Alice quicker than shields I could track, but Alice still somehow managed to deflect it with her blade. Icari used the momentary distraction to charge, both hands wrapped around her katana. In a renewed fury of attacks, Icari pushed Alice back. With final mighty downward punch, Alice staggered backwards against the wall. Now, Captain! While Alice's attention was diverted, Shields had grabbed a hold of her rifle. He unleashed the rifle's direct clip against Alice the moment Icari rolled out of the way. Sparks flew from their personal shield as bullets ricocheted in every direction. Did we get her? No. Alice's shields flickered as if deactivating, then restored itself. Damn. Shields ran toward the downed Marines in search of a second clip, but Alice leapt forward and blocked his path. Yeah? Icari brought her katana down her head, but was deflected by Alice. Eh? With a swift lateral swipe, Alice slashed Icari across her chest. No! Uh-oh. Icari stepped backwards, clutching her wound. While it was deep, it would be a handicap in an already desperate match. Exploiting Icari's loss of balance, Icari smashed the hilt of her blade against her head. No! Oh, now time to enter the berserk mode. Kaito shields rummaged through the bodies of her marines, desperately trying to find ammo. He exhaled when he found a spare clip of ammo in a fallen marine's pouch. He locked and loaded and turned, only to come face to face with Alice. With an upwards kick, she sent his aim wide. Shields twisted out of the way and as her blade shot towards him, but it was too late. A gunny shot through his shoulder. As Alice sank her saber through his flesh, he fell to his knees, losing his grip on his rifle. She pulled the blade out and prepared to deliver the cap de grace. With the last of her strength, Icari slammed her blade down on Alice's back, but now lacked the strength to cut through her barrier. In a massive explosion, Icari went flying backwards as Alice's barrier repelled her, sending her cannon clattering against the floor. Icari panted in exhaustion, blood seeping down her chest. "You are defeated!" Suddenly gunshots ran from across engineering. It was oh, Kriska! This time it's Kriska. Now that's nice of the turn of events in the game. Kriska appeared with a rifle and laid down fire from above. Alice's shields began to flicker once more as bullets bounced off. She struggled to his feet and went for his rifle, only to have it snatched from his hand. Alice took aim and sprayed fire on Kriska's position. Kriska dropped prone as bullets ricocheted around her. The catwalk collapsed under fire, sending Kriska tumbling to the floor. Kriska rolled up, and with a final shot, Alice's shield finally flickered out. Just another. But her weapon clicked. She had already expended all her ammo, laying down suppressive fire. Alice unleashed her remaining rounds on Kriska, tearing her uniform apart. Kriska dropped to the floor, her final mission complete. No! Icari pushed herself up and rushed for Alice in blind fury, but was kicked down. Alice's chest heaved with exhaustion as she stood triumphantly over Icari. "Your friend is dead, and the reactor shall soon explode, killing the rest of you!" Alice dropped her now empty rifle and drew her saber. "Youth!" Shields brought down the pipe on Alice's head, sending her saber clattering to the floor. "Really gotta cut down on the speeches." Now without the protection of her shield, blood dripped down her skull. The two of them struggled as Shields dragged her towards the flaming hot reactor core. "You!" Shields squeezed his eyes shut. He would drop Alice into the reactor shaft, even if he had to fall off with her himself. This would be the only way he could finally defeat Alice and save the future. If his life was the price to pay to save everyone, then he would gladly sacrifice himself. Once this is all over, the timeline is going to be fixed anyways. I'll just return to being the ship's captain, so it's no big loss. Behind him, Icari raised her hand and gasped desperately as Shields lifted Alice on her feet. "I'm sorry, Icari, but I'll see you in the next universe." The reactor burst into a column of blue flame behind them, the outer panels melting away in the extreme heat. This would be their funeral pyre. The two of them arrived at the edge of the shaft. Beyond the safety rail was a sheer drop into a furnace of hellfire. "Shields!" He gritted his teeth and took another step towards into the sea of fire. His arms wrapped around Alice. This would be the end. "Sorry about this, but..." Suddenly excruciating pain cut through his back. Shields dropped to his knees in disbelief. "What?" "That little piece of crap!" His consciousness began to slip away as he realized there was a combat dagger stuck to his back. "No! You piece of crap!" Alice roared triumphantly. "I have won, Shields!" She pounded her chest. "Even this universe, my little doll proved your undoing. Ironic, is it not, for her to have come so far and accomplished so much, only to fall in the same manner?" Shields collapsed to the floor when that little piece of crap, violently pulled her dagger from his back, tearing out muscle and blood. He saw her empty face hovering above him. That's her face. Shh. What? She's not smiling so gently. "No, my doll. Kill him!" A weak grin slashed apart Shigar's face as she thrusted the dagger downwards. Shields opened his eyes and realized that her other arm had stopped the arm holding the dagger from penetrating his chest, but for a flicker, lucidity returned to her eyes. "Now's your chance! Go get her, Captain!" Shields tore the dagger from her hand and dug into Alice's gut with all his might. Huh? Alice's face froze in shock as Shields repeatedly jabbed the dagger into her belly, forming a dozen new slots into her womb. "I think it's time you died a second time." With that, he kicked down the Sunrider. He kicked her down the Sunrider's reactor shaft. For a second, Alice floated in midair. At last, this nightmare ends. Arcadius, if only we could have died together. The second burst and Alice fell down the shaft. Shield's body was covered as Alice's body erupted in an enormous pillar of fire. The stench of burning flesh filled the room. The reactor. Understood. And she repaired it, and so on. The fire was taken down, and we don't really care about her, but we got. And Icari crawled over to where Kriska had fallen, tears running down her face. Oh, you idiot! You still have to try and be the goddamn hero! Icari's face froze in shock when Kriska groaned. Please do not hold me so tight, mercenary. My body is already quite battered. Kriska shook herself awake and tore open her uniform, revealing a black mesh around her body. Us-made body armor? None of that cheap crap used in the neutral rim can stop assault rounds dead in their tracks. Just another way the Alliance leads the gods in superior technology. Icari's face twisted and contorted until she resembled a newborn pug. I don't like pugs. Big fat tears dripped from her eyes as she buried herself inside Kriska's bosom, and her face is not similar to a pug at all. Okay. Sheets laughed in spite of the pain shooting through his body. We did it. He wrapped his arm around the two of them. We won. Just then, Odd Cloud burst into engineering, escorted by ship security. Oh, Captain! Despite their injuries, the two of them struggled to their feet. With grins on their blood-stained faces, Shields and Icari waved. Soon, they were both on stretchers, while ship security detained the little girl who had already surrendered peacefully. With Alice dead and the little girl never having entered the mindstream, there was no risk of Alice's ghost ever reasserting control over her again. The crew rushed to contain the machine engineering as Shields was ferried towards sickbay. Between the moving bodies of the crew, he saw a familiar locket of pink hair. Looks like pulled off, Captain! A second cloud watched the events unfold from the shadows. I guess this is the end! If you ever need me, you know where to find me! But a blink later, she completely vanished from the universe. And we closed the eyes. The past had been rewritten. The future had been saved. The Liberation Day massacre? Well, was averted. The world began to fade to white as the law of causality reconfigured the universe based on what he had accomplished. In the universe which will be created, the Sunrider would emerge triumphant during the Battle of Sierra. Shigara, the prototype spy, would be apprehended safely, and that's one of the first times I actually said only Shigara. And I did it again! And Shields would have prevented an intergalactic war between the Alliance and Pact. Not bad for a day's work, huh? But next time, let's try to get it right the first time around. Alright. But what will the future bring? I want to see the ending after the credits. You better bring something good with Icari. Really, am I into tsunderes? By the way, I might be. But you know, life with a tsundere isn't boring, that's the thing as well. Besides, even if she says she doesn't want something, we know she wants that. Because that's easy to actually get to know what she wants as well. Another thing that I know is my weakness for girls, I freaking love the girls that know how to fight with swords. That's a fact. And Icari is the one, so yeah. And so we are at the grave where Mara is and Ava's father is. And that happened a lot of times, and you know. We are talking with Ghost, and somehow that Ghost is not angry at us for what happened. So I guess Shields can leave it. Alright, the sun set over Syria National Park. The Liberation Day celebration had just ended. It was a grand affair where Admiral Grey, that old geezer, took to the stage to commend the fighting spirit of Syria's only surviving assault carrier and presented Kaito shields with a 4,000 cross. There were parades of orchestra as well as enough Alliance and Pact dignitaries to last a lifetime. In reality, Kaito Shields did not care too much about receiving honors or trying to find influence by befriending powerful Alliance figures. Instead, his only thoughts were about, "What? Why are you staring at me like that for?" That's right, the thoughts were about her. Nothing. Just thinking. You up for something after this? I know some place around here. Eh? I thought you'd never ask. Honestly, I can't wait to blow this joint. These media events really aren't my thing. Despite the old universe being destroyed, Icari and Shield's feelings for each other remained. Yes. That's right. Even though she had started as his enemy, Icari proved to be the ship's stalwart defender in the end. Without her help, Shields would never have been able to thwart the prototypes. Now, if only she could become more honest about her feelings. Well, I guess things turned out pretty well. The war's over and Syria has been liberated. Maybe you're not just a schoolboy after all. Be grateful. I might even call you Captain properly from now on. Don't get all excited, though. You've still got a long way to go before I like you. Sure, you saw that, but you still gave me quite a passionate kiss before the battle. That was just to make a point. Don't get all high and mighty just cause of that one kiss, Cap. I'll have you know, a kiss with Captain's a lot more impressive than you. In fact, I've broken hearts all across the galaxy. So you're just a cherry boy to my eyes. Oh, really? There you are, mercenary. I see you are once again with your husband-to-be. How did I actually open the menu? You best resolve your things before we turn to active duty. No doubt, paperwork will have to be filled before the higher-ups approve of our relationship between a civilian contractor and an officer of the armed forces. But if you ever need a character reference, I shall always be glad to provide assistance. Oh, I know how I actually access the menu, because I freaking press the button on the gamepad right now, which I don't really use in the game. Okay. Oh, I'm not going out with this loser. Just the other night, I saw you staring at a holograph of the captain for 10 minutes before finally sighting wistfully and dropping it in your face. Oh, I can see it in your face. This is definitely first love. First love! Icari's face glowed so red it looked like it was going to melt like a paraffin wax. Like paraffin wax. That really does sound a lot like Icari, doesn't it? Indeed, Captain. It's not like I like you or anything. Of course. Later that evening, Shields took his date to a secluded beach. He had discovered this cove many years ago. It was a spot he had spent with Murray on numerous occasions, collecting seashells and diving into the clear waters. The fresh air coming from the ocean felt cool against his chest. He took a deep breath, the familiar sight and smells warming him with nostalgia. Icari clambered down some rocks and met him. It's been a while since you've seen me like this. Well, I couldn't ask for a better sight. 10 out of 10, Icari. What are you saying? Idiot. Exactly, 11 out of 10. Yeah, smiling your face off just because I'm wearing a swimsuit. You're really a pervert, aren't you? Just so you know, this is a special service, alright? Reserved for only captains who really impress me. So, you better be grateful, you cherry boy. Alright. The two of them walked along the beach. Icari trembled with irritation. Well, aren't you going to hold my arm? Shields took her up on the offer. She leaned in, squeezing the side of her boob against him. You know, sometimes I wonder if your whole tsundere routine just an act. You really do take it too far. What are you talking about? I can't help acting like this. This is just the way I am. Whenever something bothers me, I just can't stop thinking about it. And it just makes me wanna throw myself on the floor and pound my fists and feet on the ground like a brat. But getting all emotional is pointless. Crying isn't going to do anything to fix my problems. My emotions always get the better of me. They are things that a mercenary don't need, so I box them away, somewhere. And ever since then, I've forgotten how to be honest with my feelings. I get it. You think I'm just annoying, don't you? I bet you're wishing you were with the commander right now. I knew my childhood friend was the superior tsundere. That's probably what you're thinking, isn't it? Icari. Shields turned to advise her. Nope. You're the only one I care about. You say things like that? Shields leaned in and plucked a kiss from her lips. Oh. Stupid captain. Icari leaned in and pressed her lips against Shields, her tongue gently caressing his. Shields wrapped his arms around her back, bringing her against his chest. He rounded his palms against her smooth back. The floodgates of Icari's gestation broke apart, and their kisses intensified. Their hands ran against their skin, marveling at each other's physiques. They separated, panting. Cap, I'm totally gonna regret this. Icari's lips trembled as Shields stroked her back. Stupid captain, you're already hard in your trousers. No, getting like that from just a kiss. You're really just a horny schoolboy after all. Shields' hands slid down Icari's back and came to rest on her ample ass. His fingers between her legs. Cheater, I bet you're secretly soaking wet here. As if, like you could turn me on like in a million years. Go ahead and check yourself if you want. Then you'll see that it's dry as a desert. Yeah, that was an invitation. Mo, shut up. Shields pushed aside Icari's bikini panties and examined her opening. And so the two became lovers that day. But the secret still lay deep inside Icari's heart. How had she become a mercenary after her parents' death? What was the story of the day she chose to lock her true emotions away for good and live guided only by the cold, hard facts? But those were tales Shields would have to discover another day, because right now, she was crying tears of happiness into his arms. For a brief moment she had opened her heart to him and showed him her true emotions. While the very next morning she would return to acting the part of the cool mercenary who definitely didn't have any feelings for the stupid captain, Shields knew that he would one day discover the true Icari. But when that day came, just how would their feelings for each other change? And well, that's the part we don't really care about, because that little piece of crap appeared. And again, I called her that instead of the name. Well, happens. I can't control it, sorry. But we have one girl we care about right now, and her name is Icari, right? That's true. Alright, so yeah, that someone is somewhere and we need to attack again. Blackjack, Icari, Kriska, Sola, Claude, and unknown female voice! Who that might be? The next rider unknown to anyone. Who that might be? Well, I have no clue as well. I want to know, but I have no idea. Well, so at some point we probably will know about that, so... Wait a second. No, we don't know the voice. I don't know. The ideas flow into my mind, but we don't know the voice, so it can be the possibility that's the person I'm thinking about. So yeah. Alright, this is the end for now. Icari's happy ending. Unfortunately, well, actually, that's good. There are no other endings for Icari. And actually, that's good. Because if I had to get some bad ending and Icari, I would be in a... Well, I would end up in a bad condition. But we have one ending with Icari. It's a happy ending. It's a great ending. And yes, she's my favorite girl. I know I'm overreacting probably, but whatever. Let's end it for now. In the next episode, we are going with another girl. And I will tell you, it won't be Sola. And it won't be Kriska, because Kriska is not available for the endings. A bit of a disappointment? Yes, but we can't do anything about it. So not Sola. If not Sola, then you know who, right? Our time traveler will appear, so that's the road we will go next time. For now, let's end it as I said, I think two times already. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.